Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Become an Energy Empress with me, Marli Darling. Today I want to talk about what to do if you have too many ideas. Now, this is a funny one because it explains me very well. Sometimes I have way too many ideas that would take me a very long time to execute all of them. And other times I just have no ideas whatsoever. I'll show you my notebook. I mean, I've only done the first few pages, but you know, each line on my notebook is an idea for a podcast. And there's just so many. But the thing about ideas, and those of you who have read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert will know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't read it, maybe go and read it. I love that book. I've read it 2 or 3 times. The thing about ideas is that when they come to you, they have this energy. And it's like they're alive and it brings with it a kind of motivation, but not with a push, and kind of more like a pull, but not even that. It's just like something's expanding within you and wanting to come out and be birthed into the world. And you might notice that if you have an idea and you don't act on it, and then you wait a little while and then you come back to the idea, it feels flat. No energy, no inspiration. You don't know where to start. In the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, she tells this amazing story about how she had an idea for a book and she knew where it was going to be. It was in South America somewhere, and it was about, I think it was about a rainforest being logged or something, and a woman moved down there, or was down there on, I'm butchering this story. You can go and read it. But anyway, the main point is she was writing this book and then her life got really busy and she put it on pause, and then she was going to come back to it. A year later, she started trying to write this book, but she just had no inspiration. It had no spark. It wasn't alive anymore. And then the really cool part of this story is that she had met someone, another writer, and they just clicked straight away and they became really good friends. And I think one of them gave a kiss on the cheek or something, and they met up months later and were talking about this new novel that the other lady was going to be writing, and it was like so closely related to Liz Gilbert's story. It had like the same kind of plot line, it was in the same location, it was about the same kind of thing. And the day that second lady started writing that book, it was around the time that they had met and they had clicked, and they joke that with that kiss on the cheek they had transferred the energy of that book from Liz to that other lady. And I love that story because Elizabeth Gilbert in her book talks about ideas being energies that float around in the universe looking for a person to bring them to life. And that to me is like this amazing analogy, especially when I first started my spiritual awakening. I watched a documentary called The Living Matrix, and it was talking about how did they describe it? They were basically saying that there's an energy field around us which holds information about us, and they were talking about the brain as an antenna, because the experiments that they've done on the brain, like, you can't see information within the brain, and some things they can't even pinpoint where they're located. It's fascinating. I would recommend that documentary as well. I think it's on Gaia. It was when I watched it. But that's a whole kind of theory, is that the brain is an antenna, and you have your information, your memories are stored around you in your body. And there are other theories as well that talk about us living in a quantum universe where every kind of little pocket of what's smaller than an atom? In an atom, the thing that makes up atoms is basically just energy. And the holographic theory talks about every single little atom in the universe, every little particle holding an entire image of the whole. And I see it that, I'm kind of going on a tangent here, guys. I see it that the universe is it's kind of just information, and the brain translates everything that we see and we hear. All our senses are just bringing in the energy and translating it. Like, I don't know. It's super interesting. I've seen like images and theories saying that things don't really look the way we see them. It's all interpretation. And, you know, you see colors, but color is just an electromagnetic signal being interpreted by your brain and creating this amazing image. When we see the world like that, it really is freaking amazing. And that we hear sounds that are interpreted, and that we have tastes and we have smells. Like, if you think about it, smells, there is a physical thing, but there's no kind of physical thing there. It's literally particles from the object. Say it's a flower, the particles are flying up into your nose, into your receptors, and kind of slotting in, and then your brain identifies it and interprets it. And if you've smelt it before, it will remember what it was. That there's a visual image of that in Cosmos with what's his name? Neil Tyson? Is that his name? Anyway, that's a huge tangent, but that's such an interesting way to see ideas. So, back on track, what do you do when you've got too many ideas? Well, it's funny, I'm giving you a lot of examples of resources that I've read about this, but I guess that's where ideas come from as well, and inspiration comes from. But I was reading a book by Katrina Ruth today, The Millionaire in an Hour a Day, and it's amazing. It's like a really short, quick read that's like, it's just like I feel like it could have been a motivational audio. It was really great. But anyway, Katrina talks about when you've got an idea, you've got to do it then and there, because if you don't, then it will die. And as a mum, it's kind of difficult, and I'm trying to talk to my mamas here, because that's who my target market is. Mums, entrepreneurs, manifestors. How the heck do you do that? Is it tangibly possible to just have an idea and create it? What if you have like 50 ideas at once? Well, first of all, get yourself a notebook or a place to put your ideas. It is not very functional to put your ideas in a million different places. That's something that I have been doing, and then I have to take them and kind of transfer them and try and get them all in the one spot. I have hundreds of notes from when I started my spiritual journey, and then I transferred to doing it on documents and saving all the quotes that I love. I've got some on my phone from when I'm on the go and have a quote or a thought that I love. I have so many books with dog ears of pages that are great ideas that I want to share. I have this notebook now, which is where I'm trying to keep it all together. And then I have books on Kindle and books on Scribd that I've dog-eared, because I'm like, that is an amazing idea. I want to be inspired by this again and then share this idea. So my tip for you is to find one place that you can put all those things. A lot of people like to use sites like Trello, where you can have there's columns and you can easily kind of sort the different things into columns. That's something that I could maybe get into at some point. Just have your one place. You could have a bullet journal, you could have a folder. Just try and have the one place for your ideas. Now, my next tip is not necessarily to create the idea instantly, because it's not always tangible, but write it down. At least write it down. A lot of people say to have a notepad beside the bed, and I don't do that, but some nights I will wake up with amazing ideas, and then I have to go and find my phone or go and find a pen and just write it down. Or if I'm sleepy, just pray to the universe that I'll remember it in the morning. But a notepad by the bed can be a really good idea. Get those notes, get those ideas down as soon as you think of them. Now, if you're super inspired to do something straight away, do it straight away. If you are called to just, I really need to podcast on this, or I really need to create this graphic, or create this opt-in, or start creating this course, start doing it. It is amazing now that I have finally launched my YouTube platform and my podcasting platform, because now I have that avenue where instead of having something half done or having it written down somewhere or having an audio on my phone or on my computer in some obscure file, I actually have this process now that I get it out there into the world, and then it's complete, it's done, it's there for you guys to listen to, it's there for me to look over or me to listen to or watch again if I want to be inspired by it again. And that feeling of completion is amazing. So I guess that's my third tip. The first is to have a way to organize your ideas. The second is to write them down straight away. And the third is to have an avenue to bring them to fruition. And that can take a little bit of time. Like when I created my Kajabi website, it took me, like I spent, I think it was from like 5 o'clock. I spent 2 hours before dinner and then after dinner a couple of hours, and then from 9:30 creating my sales page and creating my website. And I did it from 9:30 until 3:30 the next day with like 6 or 7 hours sleep. And that was insane for me. I'm not usually that kind of person. And speaking of Katrina Ruth, I feel like she is. She was talking about sacrificing sleep and just getting something out there. But I was really called to do it and really motivated. And I did that with kids at home, guys. I'm a single homeschooling mom, and we just had a relaxed day. I just said yes to everything they wanted. Thank God they were in really good moods, because sometimes I feel a little bit challenged by their behavior. But somehow we made that work. So it can take a little bit of work. It doesn't need to take that much work. Guys, that was a sales page that took a lot of work. When I set up my Kajabi site, Kajabi's amazing, guys, for business and online courses and memberships, because it's just so easy. So I got my full course on there, and now I'm ready to create workshops and put them up because I'm set up for it, because I have my webcam, I have my microphone, and I have my studio lights. And the funny thing is, before I actually started filming, I had those things for like 4 years, and I invested in like the best microphone that I thought I should get, and I've got the, what's it called, the Logitech 4K one, whatever it is. Like I got the best things, and then I did nothing because, I mean, this isn't what this, well, I guess that this is what this episode is about. I kept feeling like I wasn't ready. I kept getting ready to get ready. And if you keep getting ready to get ready, you're never going to be ready, because you're always getting ready to get ready. If that, I mean, it probably doesn't make sense, but stop getting ready to get ready, and at some point just do it. And once it's happening, then you can grow and evolve. Like half my podcast episodes so far, I've been in my pajamas because I was like, I just want to start. I just want to start. And guys, I changed my setup, like my background and where I wanted to film 3 times, 4 times, because I was so caught up in what I wanted it to look like. But the feeling of, like, I'm happy with it now, which is great. But the feeling of actually having that avenue and getting it out there is just amazing. So work that out. Work out what you want to do and how to do it, and freaking do it. I'm going to make another video about starting your business with kids around, because like I say, full-time homeschooling mom. I haven't had a day without my kids in like at least 6 months. It's a little bit crazy. I do have some help. I don't have heaps of breaks. Anyway, we'll talk about that in another one, but my point is it absolutely can be done. Absolutely. Absolutely. My first online course, guys, I created after my kids went to sleep every night. I would spend an hour working on it, and then I'd spend half an hour or an hour, however much time I had left, because I really value my sleep, relaxing, watching some TV, reading a book, just chilling out. And some nights I would start working at like 9 o'clock because my kids had a little bit of challenge with their sleep routine. Thank God that's easier mostly now. It can be done. I had no help at that time. That's how I was creating at that time. still another point that I want to make is that I don't always create when I have help with my kids, because if I'm inspired, I just want to do it. Half the time my kids are reading and I'm just like, please guys, please do not interrupt me. Please just let me record this podcast because I'm really in the flow. Or maybe I'll do it at night or in the early morning, or maybe I'll let them watch some television, or I'll just squeeze it in and make it happen. When I was creating my sales page, they were literally just, I took the laptop, I stood in the kitchen, I sat at the dining room table and I was supervising and watching them, and I just got it done. It's totally possible for you. So what are my tips so far? Have a place to keep your ideas, write them down straight away, and have an avenue to get them to fruition. Next thing is, take that inspired action and do it when you feel like it. But if you can't, you can't. And if you come back to it and you're not feeling that inspired motivation, maybe it's not time for that, for that idea. So I got my ideas book today and I started reading and I was like, oh, I don't know if I feel inspired by any of these. What would I even say about this idea here? Or what would I say about that one? Why did I even write that down? But I know that when I was inspired and when I wrote it, my mind was filled with things that I would say about it. So I'll leave it there. I'll trust that it's important and I'll come back to it later when that thing is sparking those ideas within that topic to come forth from I was going to say within me. So if I look at it, what I did today is what I'm trying to say. What I did today is I looked and I read and I waited until my intuition called me to a particular topic and gave me several ideas that I could talk about within that topic. And I thought I could get into flow with this. I could get it. I could do it. That's what I suggest you do when coming back to your ideas, is use your intuition to feel which ones feel alive to you, which ones call to you at the time. And if none of them do, that's okay too. You can either show up and play, which is an idea that my coach and I kind of created together, is that rather than show up and force yourself to work, is you just show up and see how you feel. Get started, and if it's turning to shit, stop it. It's fine if it's just not your day for that. Find something else constructive to do, or just take a break. I'm such a fan of breaks. I take so many breaks, guys. I almost said too many. I take so many breaks because I really believe in following my flow, and probably a part of me also really appreciates comfort as well. But now that I have these avenues for creating, it's so easy for me to just show up, and usually I can tap into flow and I can talk. And that's what I suggest you do as well, is you show up. I call it showing up to play rather than showing up with force or showing up with hustle or trying to make myself just do it. And I don't like just doing it. If I started talking and I could not talk on this topic today, I would choose a different topic. If I was talking and I just was brain dead and I don't know what to say, my energy's not here for it today, I would switch this off and I would do something else. I would go and batch some Instagram content, or if I was having a really off day, read a non-fiction book that would teach me some things that would bring me more ideas. So that's my suggestion, is that give yourself some grace and show up to play, but don't show up to work. I don't like I tell my kids I'm going to go do some work. I'm working, blah, blah, blah. But I'm rephrasing that at the moment to say I'm going to create, or I'm going to spend some time on my business, because I love growing my business, but I hate the idea of work. I've never been a fan of it. I'm much more a fan of flow and manifesting and creating. So do I have any other ideas about ideas? If you've got too many ideas, how to choose the one. Use your intuition. If it's not just podcast ideas, but it's business ideas, then yeah, maybe you have to choose. But the thing is that you're choosing for now. You're not choosing forever. I really loved learning from Lauren Love back when she was doing her Business Babe, Badass Business Babe. I did her course on niching, and she said something revolutionary as far as what I was hearing from other people, is that with your niche, it's not forever. You choose a niche and you focus and you market to those people, and then you can shift when you need to or if you need to. If there's 3 different niches you want to focus on one, and then know that you can grow and evolve and pivot and shift and whatever, however you want to call it. It's not forever. And the same thing with your business. When I was creating this business has been in the pipeline for so many years, like technically for like 12 years since I decided I wanted to be a coach and inspire people to live their dream lives, because that is in my heart what I believe, is that it's absolutely possible for you and that it gets to be easy. You get to do it, and why the fuck not do it? But it's grown and evolved with me, and my only regret, but it's not really a regret because I trust the universe and I trust my path and I trust divine timing, but I think it's funny that I didn't start earlier, that I had all these excuses, and that I spent so many years trying to work out exactly what this would look like before I started. Because if I had just started, it would have naturally evolved. And even without me starting, that's what I saw, is I would have a business idea and then it kind of grew into something else. And I actually at one point had like 3 different ideas, and I was like, how will I do that course and this course and how will I teach about that? And then it was like a year ago, maybe 2, where I had this light bulb moment, and I was like, oh my God, this is all the same thing. I had created my Mama Coaches course, but I was like, Mama Coaches is a part of me teaching entrepreneurship, and me teaching manifestation is a part of me teaching motherhood and mindset, and me teaching money mindset is a part of energy and intuition, and it's all interlinked to living your best freaking life and creating. Because with manifestation, like, creating a business is about living your purpose and living your dream life and doing what you're here to do, and manifestation helps you do that, and living your purpose helps you manifest. It's just all interlinked. So if you have multiple ideas, guys, either ask yourself how you can do all of them, or ask yourself which one's most important first, or ask yourself what your heart's calling to you to do, and if some of them are maybe ego-based or things that you think that you should do. But whatever you do, always choose one to start with. Like my business coach, James Wedmore, like, I have to say this because I caught myself a minute ago saying, like, you can do all of them. Don't do all of them at once. James Wedmore, he talks about building bridges, and if you are building like any more than one bridge at once, you're going to end up with a bunch of half-built bridges. So choose one and build the damn bridge, and then start building another bridge. But all in all, just like what I said about niches, you can do one and then do the next one and do the next one and then do the next one. You can set up one thing and then set up another one. It's okay to have multiple businesses. It's okay to be multi-passionate. Just ask Marie Forleo. You can do lots of different things. Just choose one to start with, because when you're doing too many things at once, it just doesn't happen. You're spreading yourself thin, you're spreading your energy thin, your time thin, your focus thin, and especially if you're a mom or if you've got other things happening in your life, guys, the brain is just not meant to do a gazillion things at once. And that's why in my video about setting your intentions for the year, I said to choose 3 and break them down into 1 action step for each. Now, I'm a little bit sneaky. So like with my health goal for this year, I'm saying to do yoga every day and to do 20 minutes of cardio. But those things to me are kind of the same, because I'm showing up in the morning to do them together. So it's a little sneaky, but you have that one focus. In your business, you can have like the 3 next things you want to do, but have the one focus. At the moment, I sat down and I was like, do I plan my launch? Do I do opt-ins? And for a couple of days there, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to work on next. And for the last month, I've been super clear because I've had one thing. And when I have one thing and I can just show up and do that one thing, and that's what I know I'm going to be doing, guys, that saves so much energy and time, and your focus can already go straight to that thing. So rather from going, like I go from parenting to doing the one thing, that's direct. But if I go from parenting to thinking about my business to working out what I should do next in my business to deciding what it is to then showing up to do the thing, that's a whole kerfuffle there, and you lose energy and time in the process. So choose the one thing. Oh, right, I was saying for a couple of days there. Yeah, and then I gave myself a break. I was like, okay, there's no point showing up and then just doing nothing. That's a waste of time. I do agree with showing up to play, but if I'm just going to kind of sit there and stare at this paper, like, which one? I actually just took a couple of days off and went to the beach like every day with my kids. And it was over New Year's, so I realized that I also need to set holidays as well. And that's the thing about being a creative entrepreneur, is sometimes the inspiration strikes and it doesn't feel like work and you just want to do it, which I'm totally okay with. So it was kind of cool to have a little set holiday and not think about it at all. And then last night I literally woke up at 3:30 and I lay awake until 6:30, but like not awake. Like I was kind of half asleep and my brain, I don't know how I did it because I'm super rested still. I just was having all these ideas and all this clarity, and I woke up and I got my phone and I wrote down all these notes. So I obviously was half awake for that bit at least. But now I know. Now I'm super clear. I know what I need to do next. I know what I need to focus on. And I know that because I know, I can show up and do it. And I can do it well and go all in and put my energy, time and focus into that thing. So those are my tips for you today, is have a place to write down your ideas. Write them down straight away as soon as you have them. Have an outlet. Know the process that you're going to take to bring that idea to fruition. And if you're having different ideas all the time, well, I guess you got to work it out all the time. But like the other day, I worked out how to do opt-ins on my website, and I'm like, cool. Now, when I have an idea, I know that I go to Canva and I create it, and then I know how to upload it to my website, and then it's done. Or at least, guys, have an organized folder. Like if you record a podcast, put it in the same damn spot. Don't be like me and have it all over in different locations. And so you've got the outlet for it. What was the next one, guys? I don't think it was choose your idea. Have one idea at once. Use your intuition to decide which ideas to come back to, and feel the ones that feel alive. And then choose one idea to stick with at once and go for it. That's my suggestions for you. If you have too many ideas, it's totally possible, but it's also not necessary to do them all at once. You will get there, and just by doing a little bit, you're making progress. If you have so many ideas and then got overwhelmed and get distracted and, like the saying goes, try to chase 2 rabbits at once and catch none, what's the freaking point in that? So write them down, do one at a time, and you're good to go. I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Bye.